I own a number of old British-made revolvers in my collection. There's a lot of history in these guns, and several have history in the American West as well. The neat thing about these guns is that unlike the old Colts and Smith & Wessons, these pistols are actually affordable to collectors without breaking the bank. And it's interesting to see how many of these old guns made their way to American shores. From what I've been able to read, George Armstrong Custer carried one of these when he was actually schwacked at the Battle of Little Bighorn by the Indians. So I guess even though it was double action, it didn't help him much, did it? Hi, my name's Jim, and welcome to another episode of This Old Gun. Today we're going to talk about British revolvers. I have several here in my collection. This first one is a Webley RIC. That stands for Royal Irish Constabulary. Now, the earliest revolvers were in 442 Webley and 450 Adams. This particular model here is double action, and this one's in 450 Adams. Now, these are obsolete cartridges, so you pretty much got to roll your own. If you'll notice, I flipped down the side loading gate. My ammunition, I'm making these out of Webley Mark II brass trimmed down. And my cast bullets are actually powder coated. This is a double action revolver. So we'll open the load gate. We'll load these two. And we're just going to fire two in these, just for the sake of time. So my first shot will be on single action. My second shot will be on double action. And these are black powder loads, by the way. Now to unload it, you flip the load gate open, pull out the little rammer here, and push each individual cartridge out. Now, there is an interesting little anecdote about this pistol. From what I've been able to read, George Armstrong Custer carried one of these when he was actually schwacked at the Battle of Little Bighorn by the Indians. So I guess even though it was double action, it didn't help him much, did it? My next British revolver is very similar to the Webley. This is also made by Webley. This one is a Metropolitan Police Webley, not an RIC. It operates in a very similar way. You'll notice I got two of them loaded right here. This one's also a double action. For all of you Sherlock Holmes fans, this is the revolver you want right here. The British police, the Metropolitan Police in London would have carried these in the 1890s up to about the 1920s. Let's put 2 rounds through it. Another revolver here we have today is a British Bulldog in 442 Webley. These were pretty popular in the American West because they were large caliber, small guns. This one is also a double action. So let's load a couple rounds in this one and test fire it. And as usual, we're going to fire the first shot single action, double action for the other shot. As with always, any of these old antique guns, you want to take them to a competent gunsmith to have them checked out before you start firing them. With these older guns like this, I would definitely recommend using the black powder load instead of trying to burn smokeless in it, because the metallurgy even then was not as good as it is now. And you're looking at a over 100-year-old pistol. So my next British revolver is a Boer War Webley. Originally in .455, back in the 1960s, I believe it was, we imported a lot of these into the U.S., and they shaved the back of the cylinder to take 45 ACP in a full moon clip, just like the 1917 Colts and Smith & Wessons. But here's my caution to you. Don't shoot 45 ACP in these pistols. 45 ACP runs about 21,000 PSI roughly. These guns are only proof to about 13. Definitely don't want to run 45 ACP loads. However, what I've done, I picked up some 45 auto rim brass. This is basically 45 ACP with a rim on it, the same thickness as the full moon clips and stuff for the 1917 Colts. So you'll notice on these British revolvers, these actually tip out and eject now. If you'll remember the earlier Smith & Wessons, they tipped up. Then the later Smith & Wessons tipped forward and have the automatic ejector. Well, the Webleys ended up going with the Smith & Wesson top. So we're going to put 2 rounds through this one. These are my homemade cast bullets, 265 grain flat nose wide knee plat, and I have them powder coated. This revolver is also double action. So first shot we're going to cock it, second shot just the trigger. To eject, just simply open it up, tip it over, dump it out. But you'd have saw these revolvers during the First and Second Boer War in South Africa, between the South African Dutch settlers and the British. So my last British revolver I'd like to talk to you about today is a Webley type, but it's not exactly a Webley. This is an Enfield number 2 used by the British in the Second World War. This revolver is in caliber .38-200, but I'm loading Smith & Wesson brass in it with some little cast bullets. And this works just like the other Webleys from the Boer War and World War I. So this World War II Webley, you push down right here on the latch, roll it forward. What we'll do is we'll put our ammo in. We're going to shoot 2 rounds. Now this one, if you'll notice, does not have a way of cocking the hammer back. This one is double action only. This particular Webley was actually made in Scotland by Albion Motors. As with always, before you shoot any of these antique revolvers, you want to get them checked by a competent gunsmith to make sure that they're going to be safe and sound. There's no cracks in it anywhere. There's no rust pits or anything that could possibly cause any safety issues. You always want to use ammunition made specifically for the gun itself. In conclusion, if you like this video on British revolvers, subscribe to the channel, like the video, I'll bring you even more content.